I know I've given up on the idea of finding like an SD adapter or whatever, but I was just on a walk in Bolzano. I'm in the Alps, and then I saw this like tech store, and I got a little bit of hope, but to no avail. Didn't find anything.
Just headed into town a bit. I got a torta viña. I don't know what it is. It's quite good. It's very light. It's extremely light. I figured, hey, I'll splurge on like a cake kind of thing because I'm essentially in Germany right now. We're so close to the border, I suppose, that everything is in German, which like I'm not a huge fan of. You know, it's different. It's different. That's all. But I'm just here for like an Italian experience, and I didn't expect that. It's a welcome surprise, but yeah, I didn't see that coming, and it's interesting. It took me a long time to find a bench. I walked like a whole circle around the town, which tells me that this town is not as like warm, you know? Like in every Italian city I've been in, or town, there's always like a gathering, communal area. But this place is more little streets, and people don't gather. Yeah, they're outside of their bars and restaurants, but it's not the same. People don't just sit for and do nothing together. So already very big differences from what I've seen from like this German blend and pure Italian places. I'm grabbing a quick bite because I don't know what the food situation is going to be like where I'm headed, so I might as well do it now while I'm in a more populated area. I got a kebab. And one thing I've realized is I miss diversity in my food. Sure, Italian cuisine is quite diverse in and of itself, but it also recycles a lot of the same ingredients, and it's nice to kind of like just, you know, taste a different kind of seasoning with the meat. And also this trip, believe it or not, I just haven't had a lot of meat. If I have had a lot of meat, it's like thin slices of meat, whereas this is nice and chunky. Well, you can tell this part of Italy is completely different. I don't even feel like I'm in Italy anymore, to be honest. It feels so German here. My ears just popped, and I'm a little cold despite my 4 layers. I'm wearing 3 layers for my legs. I'm a little chilly. I've yet to put on my scarf, so I'm okay. If you look up to the right, you can see these tiny cable cars, and I'm trying to find the station at the moment. Okay, so that's what it's supposed to look like. That's where we are right now. So I think I just walk along this ridge, and then I'll look out right up here. But I'll show you the view outside. Best part about solo traveling is that no one would have been down to do this with me. No one would have been crazy enough. supposed to be a huge mountain ridge right here. It's supposed to be spectacular. But that's okay. I felt like I almost died. I kid you not. I couldn't feel my limbs. I thought my toe got frostbite. It only recently, like the feeling recently came back. Thank God. That was really scary. And also up there in the mountains, like something was going on with my vision. I started seeing all these like like your rods and cones or whatever, but it wouldn't go away. I was like, what the hell is happening? Maybe my eyes were just like overexposed because of the snow. But I realized when I got back to the gondola area, I checked my portable battery because my phone was running out of battery. It's like 3%. And then I realized that this morning I was still charging my phone, and then I just unplugged it and left the house. So the cable, I have the portable battery, but I don't have the cable. So with 3% battery, I immediately turned off my phone, only for emergencies only. Had to do some quick thinking, so I'm pretty proud of that. So here is the problem we have at the moment. In order to buy the bus ticket, I need to use my phone. Thankfully, the buses here, they announce like schedules and stuff. So I know for a fact that the bus I want is gonna come at 6:03, and it's currently 5:55, so in like 7-8 minutes. I got here like 40 minutes ago though, so I waited 40 minutes. And I told myself that I will purchase the ticket once the time gets closer, because I cannot risk buying it and then just like my phone dying before the bus actually comes, or like not even being able to buy it. Yeah, as long as I buy it and then I get on the bus, we're home safe, because it'll take me to Bolzano, and then from there I can just go back to the apartment and charge back up, because that's literally my wallet. I don't have any euro. I only use Apple Pay. When I woke up this morning, oh, by the way, I made it home safe yesterday. Thank you for asking. Once I got on the bus, I just had so many like emotions and everything that I didn't really want to like vlog. I ended up getting Wiener Schnitzel when in Germany, Germany. And I hung out with the receptionist. It was a lot of fun. We went for a drive around town. He taught me a lot about Bolzano, and yeah, no complaints about how the rest of that day went. Honestly, it went very well. Turns out I was tripping about the phone percentage. It died really quickly on the mountain because it was cold. When I turned it back on, I had 18%, which was totally fine to get me back home. Anyways, this morning when I woke up, as you can see, there is a highlight. Yeah. So first thought is, shit, do I go back to the same spot? And low key, I think so. Boy, do I have quite the story time today. First, I'll be right back. I caved and I went to McDonald's. I told myself I wouldn't go to McDonald's in Italy
until Rome, because that one that I saw on TikTok looks crazy. And I just wanted it to be special. But I had ramen for dinner, and I was craving a sweet treat. And low-key, like, I don't know, I don't trust places around here for some reason. I just feel like they're gonna be mid, and then you pay too much. But if it's gonna be mid, why can't I just get something like that I know is mid? Look what I got here. This is McDonald's. It is a chocolate cake. As you can tell, I put on some weight. Low key, I thought I was never gonna do this again. I thought I was never gonna talk to y'all again, because I left this camera on the bus when I was going to the mountains, and then I got off to go to the cable car. I realized it was kind of cold, so I was like, oh, let me put on my sweater, which I had like on my backpack strap, but that's not a good strategy, so it must have fell out at some point. And then I realized, oh wait, where's my sweater? And then I did a pat down. Wait, where's my camera? I didn't have my camera either, and I was like, snap. I know for sure I left it on the bus. So my strategy was to go across the street, wait at the opposite side of the bus stop, and wait for that same number bus to come around, right? And so I did. I waited like 30 minutes, and then I had to look up how to say all these things, and I'm like, oh, like, I left my stuff on the bus. Is it okay if I just take a look? I went on, took a look. It was not there. So I started getting really sad, and then I asked the driver, I'm like, hey, like, is there only ever one bus that goes around? Like, is it just like you, and then you go back and that's the same bus, because like in the city you have like a fleet. I'm gonna try this, by the way. Damn, this looks crazy. No wonder I'm gaining weight. Oh no, I didn't take a photo. Wait, whatever. Yo! What the heck, dude? This is delicious. Yo, it's fluffy. It's like a chocolate mousse, but then the crunchy layer on top is like, it's like light crunchy, so it's kind of like a Ferrero Rocher. Pretty sure it's hazelnut as well. Yo, this is exquisite. Okay, well, let's resume story time. So basically every bus that comes to that stop, I get on it, and then I just ask the driver some questions. Like, I'm just like putting together more information. I'm just gathering information. I asked the drivers, like, so from the first guy I asked, like, is it only one driver? And then the other drivers, I'd be like, hey, do you guys ever like switch numbers? Like, after your route, do you ever become like does the 350 become the 360? And he said yes, and I'm like, no. So at that point I was like, dude, I'm never gonna find it. Like, I don't know. And then I just kept doing this with every bus. And then one guy said, okay, go to the final stop in this place called Blad, I don't know. And chances are the driver will have inspected his bus after reaching the end, and then any lost items he'll turn in at the office. So long story short, I headed to Plan. That was my plan. And a very nice driver let me into the station, and he's like, what are you looking for? I'm like, I'm looking for lost and found items. We checked, there was nothing. He called the agency or whatever, telling them about my situation, like what bus I was on at what time, leaving from where, all that information. And thank God, Europe, or maybe it's just Italy, is more like bureaucratic, because that means they probably like filed a report or something. They did paperwork. They don't do this shit in the U.S. So yeah, they probably filed a report or something, because the agency said yes, they know where it is, and then they found out, and turns out it's like right outside. It was in a car that the bus driver moved it to. I don't know why. But the problem there was like the car was locked or something, and I had to wait like an hour for the driver to come back and unlock it. And yeah, that's how I got this camera back. And that was like my whole day. It initially started with just, I was so excited. The energy was through the roof. I was like super excited to actually see like the Dolomite Ridge with some sun. But then by the time I actually got there to Ortizay, like the clouds came in, and I was checking the live cam, and it got covered just like yesterday, so I didn't miss out on anything. And like, I don't necessarily consider today a waste. It would be easy to just kind of give up and fall back onto that kind of like sentiment, but everything happens for a reason. Everything is a lesson. I would say the lesson here is one, don't rush off of buses. I feel like that I've had a lot of close calls now. Things like where, I just get off too fast or something, and then it's like the wrong stop, or I leave stuff. And then two is, I realize that I am a very like resilient person, like in the face of what's the word? Adversity. When times get tough, I don't falter. Instead, I start trying to figure things out, see what I can do. There's no use in panicking. I felt like panicking, but did I panic? No, I did not. So yeah, that's how I got the camera back. And I learned a lot about myself in the process. Just I learned what I can handle. Like I kept my anxiety in check. I'm trying to stay stoic, trying to look at the not so much like the bright sides, but like that it's not the end of the world type shit, which it isn't. I ended up losing my sweater, my Lululemon sweater, but I got that used from Lulu, like new, for like 40 to 50. So it's not the end of the world. That's just money. But losing the camera was a big deal, because I had files on there and they had sentimental value, and you can't pay for that. Like, you can't pay for my memories from this Italy trip. So yeah, thanks for listening. The hostel receptionist dude, Tony is his name, invited me out tonight, so we'll see what happens. Peace.